Up next, a lady out in the heartland who thinks this is a globalism nightmare. Stay tuned on Drudge Solving, the guy asking the tough questions down at the White House press room and getting a very icy response. Joining me on the dish from the heartland, St. Louis, I believe, Phyllis Schlafly, Eagle Forum. Good evening and thanks for coming in.
Hi, Matt.
We talked before NATO launched its operation, and you were furious. You were angry. You were warning that this is a step into this globalism. It's now going beyond intellectualism and is now being realized. What is your warning?
Well, when I hear Clinton talking about our moral duty to go into Kosovo and that this is the right thing to do, I react just like Abe Rosenthal in this morning's New York Times. He said, "I feel nausea." Here we've got a draft dodger and a liar who is taking us into a war under the pretext that he's going to avoid a war. But he's doing just what he said he's not going to do. And this is part of his global agenda. He has no exit strategy, of course, because his game plan is to keep American troops involved in European conflicts all the time. That is exactly what he wants.
You've been online. You have a website, eagleforum.org.
Yes.
Where you have really been warning about globalism. Here are some quotes. This one from number 2, Secretary of State Strobe Talbot, Deputy Secretary. And you won't believe this. This was written, he wrote it in his own pen in Time magazine. Quote, "I'll bet that within the next 100 years, nationhood as we know it will be obsolete. All states will recognize a single global authority."
Yeah, isn't that shocking?
And I'll continue. "A phrase briefly fashionable in the mid-20th century, citizen of the world, will have assumed real meaning by the end of the 21st. What exactly does he mean that there will be no nations?
Well, he said he didn't think sovereignty was such a good idea after all, and he rejoices in the coming birth of the global nation. In other words, he and his crowd want world government. And Madeleine Albright says the same thing. She doesn't believe in sovereignty. She thinks we should give away some of it, and she thinks Yugoslavia should give away some of it in order to accept what these people who think they're running the world want to do. Clinton called this his global web that he wants to take us into.
A web.
A web.
Yeah.
That was his metaphor. And it is a web as he takes us into it through treaties, through so-called phony peacekeeping expeditions, and this involvement in a war that is none of our business in a sovereign country is just part of the whole plan. It's not an accident. It's part of his game plan.
This has become your #1 mission?
Oh, absolutely.
This globalism, I know you were very effective in the 70s against the ERA and a few other grassroots operations that you made national agendas. What do you think this globalism is going to take off? Whenever I bring this up with my friends, and I've been shouting on rooftops, they laugh at me, they say this is ridiculous, but I am...
Well, just look at their own words. I think you can spell it all out with their own words, with Strobe Talbot's words, with Clinton's words, with Madeleine Albright's words. And, you know, he said he wants to put us into integrated democracies and integrated economies. Americans don't want to be integrated with all these other countries.
Stay right there. We'll continue at the other end. Phyllis Schlafly joining me. Also, someone who is for the NATO aggression. Stay tuned on Drudge. Matt Drudge back on Fox News. Let's roll some tape. Madeleine Albright, Secretary of State, last time I checked, for America.
Snage predvođene od strane NATO bi štitile kako srpske, tako I albanske civile.
I missed it. I guess this wasn't directed at us. This was actually an address to the Serbs and those on the ground. They're saying this isn't about you guys, this is about your leader. Phyllis Schlafly, I've never seen a Secretary of State talk in a foreign tongue quite like that.
No, she's very excited about this whole operation in Yugoslavia, and I don't think she's working for the best interests of the United States. We have no national interest there. You know, Matt, you started off this program talking about an email virus, but the real virus is in the White House. It is this lying, draft-dodging president who's trying to get us into a war, and I do think it is a wag-the-dog operation to get away from the other scandals. And what's the matter with Congress? Why aren't they cutting the money off? Why aren't they having a tantrum and denouncing this unconstitutional effort of Clinton to get us involved in a foreign war in a sovereign nation? It's not only not authorized by the Constitution, it's not even authorized under the NATO Charter.
Yeah, it's. I appreciate your point of view. You've had a track.